Hello, everyone. Welcome to Dive Cloud, a tabletop podcast. We are a bunch of avid role players who really want to share our stories with all of you, and Dive Cloud is our way of doing that. It's a podcast filled with mystery, friendship, and adventure. Thank you all so much for listening. However you found us, whether you just thought it looked cool or we told you about it ourselves, we are super excited to be making this show for you guys. I don't want to hold us up any longer, so let's get right into it. Episode 1. Hello, everyone. My name is Cole Luther, and I'm going to be your DM. I'm going to have everyone go around and kind of introduce themselves and their character name and such. So let's start with you.
Hi, my name is Jenny. I'm playing Shava Demaxic, who is a Great Old One Warlock, and she is a tiefling.
I am Weston. I am playing a Mountain Dwarf Forge Cleric, Darius Smoke Brewer.
I'm Brandon Korth. I'm playing Yang Ne Evenway. He goes by Yang, though. He is an apeling druid of the forest.
And I'm Mike Lema. I'm playing Whispers at Sunset, an Aarakocra barbarian.
So the kind of the short of it is that this is our very own D&D podcast. We are going to be doing this kind of mystery adventure based around this interesting feature called the Tower, and we'll get into that. Without further ado, let's get into the opening. Dive Cloud. Okay. Jazz music fills the cool night air. From an open window, a flickering purple light illuminates a cobblestone city street. The light sits atop a street lamp, and as we pull back, we see an entire city bathed in purple. All of this in the shadow of a gargantuan, deep black tower. It blocks out the starry sky and reaches up towards the heavens. A creature of immense proportion lurks, watches. Its body drips with black, oily discharge. Underneath are wires and cogs that form into a mechanical shape. From a hollow mask, a burble of speech pushes forth. The twilight of an old age is upon us. The gates of gods are breaking. And we see that this entity is not in the city. It is watching from some distant place on a throne of dead machines.
Why does every one of your monsters always dripping? Always.
It must be coincidence.
They must be moist.
Every time. It must be moist.
No.
So, we're sweeping in on a group of travelers, the four of you, making their way across a well-tread road. The white sun shines down on you, and twittering of birds fills your ears. Tall trees dot the path ahead as you begin your journey into the midwood. A distant black line splits the sky in front of you. This is your destination, the Tower. With that, we're going to introduce the characters. We see three characters walking by a simple wagon with a pack mule in front, carrying some basic supplies. We only see three characters.
The first person that you see is a little bit taller than 5-foot tiefling. She looks very young, and she has a bob of dark brown hair. She has horns large enough that she does not have eyebrows that extend out like horns of a bull. Her skin is a light lavender, and her eyes both glow amber gold. She's wearing a very ruffly skirt and a soft sweater. She has a small satchel over her side, and a very large staff with a moon at the top covered in almost runic symbols and glowing amethyst.
Ooh. The next person that you see is a short and stout and somewhat skinnier version of a dwarf, thinner than most, with auburn hair, large beard, and long hair, as most you see, with silver armor, with a great, on one shoulder of one of the pauldrons, a symbol of a diamond and a hammer sitting next to it with a flame encompassing all three.
Then the third character you would see would be a brown-feathered owl folk, an Aarakocra, according to certain aspects of the game. He is about 5.5 foot tall, with, like I said, brown feathers, some tinged at the fringes with white, and he isn't wearing a lot. A couple of pieces of leather, no armor in particular. He carries a long polearm fashioned with 3 talons at the end of it, and he has obviously the habits of walking as a bird folk would, and he tends to turn his head often in the opposite direction that he's traveling to make sure that those he's leading behind him are keeping in right order.
How does he walk? Does he walk like hopping kind of?
Yeah, there's a little bit of a skittering hop to his step. He's not comfortable traveling on the ground.
Right.
So is he just walking in front with his head 180 facing us?
For the most part.
Oh.
Nice. He does turn back around and look to make sure there's nothing in front of him, but he'd rather keep an eye on his charges than he would on where he's going. Because he knows where he's going. He has no idea what you're all about.
The fourth character we see is hidden inside a small crate.
Oh boy.
on the cart being carried. Brandon, if you could describe your character.
Yeah, so the last character you see, huddled in a small crate, surrounded by sweet rolls, stuffing his face, just from the travels, is a as he would regularly stand 4'6", standing up straight is 5 feet. An apeling. Think of like a lanky teenage human, but with a lot of fur, mutton chops, and like very furry. He also has a tail. He's wearing a dark blue vest with yellow trim, ribbon bracelets that are also yellow, and he's got brown pants on and no shoes. And he's got his quarterstaff and some other stuff stowed away too.
I'm sure you have it hidden somewhere in the cart.
Right.
The rest of you are making your way towards the Midwood. You are kind of in the end of the open fields that you've been traveling for a few days. There is a city that you're headed from called Jaewong that has a lot of farmland to support it because it's a large city. And you've been traveling kind of through some patches of trees, but you are coming across a large forest that kind of spans across the middle of the continent. And it is blocking your way to your destination, which is a very tall, literally splitting the sky, black tower. Each of you have your own reasons for going, but as you continue along this path, you reach the edge of the trees. And Whispers, you are the person who knows this place best.
Well, my friends, we have arrived at the Midwood. I suggest you never leave the road. Those who do not oft return.
Finally.
Won't be a problem for me.
So paying attention.
Don't like the trees anyway.
I just want to get off this road. I'm so tired of walking.
We will not be off the road for some time.
Wonderful news.
Whispers, as you look up into the sky, you see clouds are approaching, and this would be indicative, from what you know of, fast approaching rain.
I suggest we take shelter. There appears to be at least a heavy rain coming.
At least, what does that mean?
It is possible we are in for a storm.
I'm going to pull out my journal and start writing haikus about rain.
All right. I look forward to hearing that.
Yang ate too much and he's starting to fall asleep.
That's not surprising.
Whispers would take flight. He'd unfurl his wings and soar a little bit around the area over the road, not far at all, knowing the danger of the Midwood, but maybe to get a glimpse at the incoming weather and anything else that would be in the area.
How is the carriage being pulled?
It's by a small donkey.
Okay, cool.
A mule.
Okay.
Yeah.
Darius would start to pull out some of the tent or covered area to keep himself dry, and then pull out his tinkering and work on cleaning his rifle and his cogs and all that good stuff.
As you're walking.
Oh, I thought we were taking shelter.
Yeah, you right now. Whispers is up in the air looking for shelter for the rest of you. So, Whispers, if you could make a perception check, the first roll of the game.
Woo, woo. That one.
Crit.
I like the sound of that.
10.
Okay. 10.
Very balanced.
10. You spot a pretty decent outcropping, kind of a small cliffside that curls over the top. Which would provide enough shelter for you guys to set up a small little camp without getting rained on too badly.
Then Whispers would come back down and land on the wagon and not be looking towards the shelter, but his body would be facing it, and he would turn and look at his companions and describe what he had seen. There's a cliff not far from here. We should take cover underneath it in order to stay out of the elements.
Lead the way, bird.
I trust his judgment the most here.
Yeah. Whispers leads the rest of you to this small outcropping. It is enough for you guys to make a small camp in this little place that is hidden from the rain. The sky is now overcast, and it has begun to rain heavily.
Even on the outside, stone still provides me with the most shelter I've ever seen.
Storms just make me uncomfortable.
They're beautiful, though. Unlike nothing you've seen.
But rain. I don't like rain.
It is also around, I would say, quickly approaching dusk. So, if there's anything you guys want to do, like make a fire or anything like that,
Yeah.
more than welcome.
Darius will lead over and start a fire. He'll be in some burns.
With gunpowder.
Yeah. He'll take out a little capsule and just and light up a little, flickers and sparks, and they'll show up. A little bit as they taste for you. Nothing's more beautiful.
So, it's
So I
still
think
learning everyone's name's Darius, right? Darius sets a small fire in it. Quickly, you watch as he pulls out this strange powder that I don't think any of you really know about, other than maybe Shava knows a little bit about. But it quickly ignites the kindling and sticks.
What is that? What is that you have just used?
black powder, gunpowder, goes by many names. You never seen it before.
Whispers would cock his head to the side, way to the side, and no. And then he would flutter off to a perch right on the cliffside and kind of hunker into that cold bird shape and just begin to watch everybody else and the forest around them.
Just big dinner plate eyes staring at everyone.
Just staring out into the darkness.
If you'd like to let me explain it to you, I'd love to teach. Nothing interests me more than learning and explaining and finding the knowledge of this world. Nothing. Alrighty then. Keep your head turned on straight, why don't you?
As the night starts to settle in, you find that it's rather cozy in this place, even though it's raining right next to you. You're all pretty dry, except maybe Whispers is a little bit away in the rain, a tiny bit.
A little bit. He's keeping an eye. The water doesn't seem to bother him much, nor does the rain.
Could you make a perception check for me, Whispers?
Monsters.
That would be a dirty 20.
You hear the pitter-patter of small feet, like some kind of woodland critter.
Mm-hmm.
It probably
Woodland
would-
critter?
Woodland
Or-
critter. It wouldn't really raise your suspicion.
Okay. Whispers would like to focus on that area, and if prey makes itself available, he would like to take it.
Okay. You do see a small squirrel scurrying up a tree to get into a hollow.
It's done. If you will allow Whispers to capture it, he will definitely leave his perch and grab the squirrel.
You hear the of wings, and Whispers shoots out of the tree.
I would swoop down at it just as a bird of prey would, And as I'm about to hit it, I would whisper to it. I would say, "Thank you, brother." And I would
You're terrifying.
pin it to the tree, and then I would eat it.
None of us would see this?
Oh yeah, you would see this.
Oh,
I'm
It's
terrified.
not that far away. I mean, maybe it's a little hard to make out until he turns around and there's just like his feathers are stained with red.
Far more civilized ways to eat that, friend. Could have skinned and cooked for you if you like.
Do you flutter away back
Oh,
to
yeah.
thing?
right back to my perch.
I think Yang has actually started to wake up, and instantly
You are actually like your crate is mostly dry, but it is definitely soaked in.
Oh, yeah.
And you wake up realizing that
Yeah.
you're just soaked.
But I also wake up and I'm super hungry again.
They're all gone.
My stomach
all the
is
sweet rolls.
No,
You ate our sweet rolls.
my stomach is rumbling, and I smell the fire, and I think I see Shiva walking past, and I go, Shiva, Shava.
Yeah, she was an Indian.
Whoops.
Shava,
I say Shiva, she's like, that's not my name.
I'm gonna have you make a perception check. You definitely
boy.
Shava.
I mean, it could be the nickname.
The name does not the voice you hear does not ring any bells at first, but you hear a tiny little voice coming
Yeah.
from
Shava.
over by the.
She's gonna furrow her non-existent brows and kind of look over. Does she know who it is?
Shava, it's me. It's Yang. Is that bird thing gone?
Bird thing? You mean shadow?
Yeah, Shadow.
Shadows.
No, that big owl thing.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay, good.
He's
What
here.
was your
I
perception?
got an 18.
18. You also hear this little voice, and you see Shava starting to converse with the crate.
I think. Well, so what she and then Yang actually he's like looking around and he grabs whatever's left of some sweet rolls that had fallen out of his mouth and he sticks his hand out of the crate. He's like, "Okay, Shava, here, I'll give you this, and you give me some. You go cook me up some food, okay?
I don't want that.
Please, I'm so hungry.
I don't want that.
I'm so hungry."
Darius is gonna walk over and. You feeling alright, Shava? Have you eaten?
Yang pulls his arm in.
You probably see it.
that. At this
Whispers,
turn-
you're busy eating a squirrel, so I don't think you notice this right away.
After seeing the arm, Darius is gonna pull out his pistol and he's gonna cock it like straight into the.
Or how about we don't?
And who are you?
no,
Come out, show me yourself.
I'm sweet rolls.
Your name is Sweet Rolls.
I know. Yes, I'm just sweet rolls. Don't mind me. Doo-dee-dee-dee.
Come on up. I promise I won't shoot if you show yourself and you participate quietly and cleanly.
Okay, Shava.
You know this little fellow.
Shava's a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
Good friend.
We've played our fair share of pranks in the past.
What do you mean by pranks?
But pranks.
Well, nothing bad, just some good fun.
Yeah, no.
And
just
this was one of our pranks, right, Shava?
fun. Oh yes, totally.
Okay.
Yang, have you popped out from the crate?
Yeah, I think I have my head come out the
At
top.
that point, you would notice that there is someone you did not bring with you, Whispers, on this little caravan.
Then I would very
would we
quietly
notice?
land right behind him on the crate.
Make a stealth check.
Oh
This is why I call him Shadows.
Shadows, whispers.
That is a nat 20 for a total of 25.
gosh!
Yang, you notice nothing.
I think Yang's tail is just kind of like going back. He's kind of in his element of just being caught right now with this slight thing. It's just like, oh yeah, so yeah, Shava, you brought me along, right? And we're just gonna kind of go. I'm here.
I'm gonna
everyone."
purposefully make eye contact with Whispers. I'm going to be like, yes, yes, he is my friend.
I will put my head to the side.
Yeah, I'm your friend. Who are you talking to?
She is talking to me.
His tail like
Monkey child. What are you doing here?
I'm along for the ride just like everyone else.
Along for the you know this is a one-way trip, right?
Yeah, I know where we're going, to the tower, right?
Are you
yes, I
prepared?
told him about where we were going. Yes,
He is prepared to go into the tower.
I would think so.
I'm ready. I mean, you're guiding us there, right? I mean,
All right, show me your mitts, and he's gonna ask you for his hands. Like, give me your hands.
why? I didn't do anything wrong yet.
If you're gonna go into a town and you're gonna travel us, you've got to have good hands. Give me your hands.
All right.
He's
And
gonna,
I unfurl my like long, lanky fingers, and they're just covered in like sticky like sweets and stuff like that.
he's gonna look at you. So tell me, what do you think you'd do with these? What do you use these for?
Oh, I can climb.
You can climb things.
That's what I do. Look,
Oh, yeah.
I'm a monkey.
You've got sticky fingers. I'm sure I could climb up a wall if my fingers are sticking that.
They don't have to be sticky. He just like slobbers all over. Oh no. He just wipes out his fur too on his legs.
Whispers would do that thing where a bird's head goes back. You look at Shava. You purposely brought this one. Is it for eating?
He is not, I promise. When she sees him do that, she's actually going to like grab her nose and like, oh, you're making it worse.
Over a bit of time, you realize that he's not really a threat. Mm-hmm. He certainly seems maybe like a drain of resources.
He's a hindrance.
But he's not gonna like hurt anyone or do anything terrible.
Well,
so
I'm innocent.
We've brought rations for 3 of us, maybe 2 of us. If Wispy over there can catch his own prey.
I can split my rations with him.
I have given you a pronounceable name in your language. I would prefer you respect and honor that.
What's your name again? Mr. Wispy?
Whispers at sunset.
Whispers at sunset. Middle name at? It's weird.
I call him Shadows because he just appears sometimes.
He would clack his beard like right in your face. I will allow you to call me Whispers.
Okay.
Do not incur wrath. And then I'll go back up to my perch.
It is now kind of dark in the night, and while still raining, bits of clouds kind of pass over, and moments of silence from no rainfall happen. You see a crescent moon as the clouds go back over it, and you all find yourselves staring at the fire in one way or another. Whisper's probably keeping a more vigilant eye out. You begin to share stories about yourselves and your history, just to pass the time. Shava, would you like to start off the fireside tales?
Wait, why are we telling stories? Okay. I wrote a very good one today. She's gonna pull out her book of haikus while we're all sitting around the fire, and she's like, okay, so
Oh, I love these. They're so good. And Yang's just like looking like,
okay.
sad.
I made this one when it started raining. Heading down a path. Whispers warns us of a storm. Travel is not fun.
Beautiful. I agree.
Thank you. I've been working very hard on them.
Yeah, so as Shava continues going on about poetry for a while, she eventually gets into a tale about where she was from and her hometown. So we see Shava's family estate. It is an ornate building in the countryside with the mountains carved in for farming. It is overlooking a gigantic stone statue, hundreds and hundreds of feet tall, that sits in the middle of this extravagant place. And there are even buildings and levers and elevators moving up and down this statue. We see Shava and her brother. We see Lucius, and they make their way into the city together. And he gives her a target to pickpocket. All right, Shava, it's time.
Okay.
He points. He points to a man wearing a hood, looking like he's concealing his face. Go. If you can pick his pocket, you will pass your initiation.
Will you give me something special if I do?
I think so. I think that can be arranged.
Okay, she's gonna try not to skip because she's very excited. I'm going to go over and I'm actually going to klutzily like bump into things, so there's like a ton of fiasco from like people from like making it look like someone else bumped it over while I'm walking by.
Okay, so you pass by this cart with all this stuff on it, and you nudge a person just right so they stumble into it. Make a strength check to make sure you push them hard enough into it to make them stumble.
I'm not good at strength. That's a 1.
A 1?
Unnatural 1.
Oh, unnatural 1?
Unnatural
That's
1.
different than a natural,
Okay.
but not by much. You go to shove this person, and right as they tilt forward to look at something, and you miss them entirely, and you bump into this very large man who is the guard right next to this fruit stand that you were about to bump someone into.
All right.
And he looks down at you with this big frothy beard, and he just growls.
All right. I'm going to look up at him, and I'm going to like take a piece of my hair, and I'm going to spit in my fingers, and be like, "I'm sorry. I'm so klutzy."
Make a deception check.
Okay. I'm much better at those. 23.
23 is a full success, so he just kind of waves his hand, just telling you to get out of there.
I'm going to try it again.
Are you go to a different stand and shove someone else?
Yes.
All right. Try again.
I'm not a master of stealth. 13.
13 is a partial success. So you knock this person into a stand, and they turn around to look at you. And it does cause a bit of commotion, and the guy with the hood, who's your target, does stop to look. But most other people are looking in your direction as well.
I
What do
wanted
you do?
to hit them, and then everything would start happening, and then I would duck and hide. That's not working.
No, you've kind of attracted. You've kind
All
of
of the attention.
you stopped your target from moving away from you, but also everyone is kind of starting to pay attention to what's going on.
Okay.
Excuse me,
Oh, I'm so sorry.
can I help you with something?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I don't come to the market that much, so I sometimes get lost in the commotion.
As you start speaking, everything kind of starts going back to normal. People start looking away. It seems like a normal circumstance.
All right.
You watch as your target does stick around a little longer, and he's still not moving, but he's looking over in your direction. But he doesn't have direct line of sight on you. You're a little short
All right.
in the crowd.
We're going for last resort here. I'm going to thaumaturgy some noises.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Third time's a charm.
Of,
What are you thaumaturgy?
breaking glass.
Okay.
The sounds of breaking glass coming from in front of him towards the cart.
Okay. Yeah, there's no roll necessary there. Breaking glass in front of him happens, and he instantly turns around and starts heading the other way.
All right, I'm going to tail him.
All right, make a stealth check. You actually, I saw the roll. You actually have not. You did get. I'll give you advantage because you did get him to stop for long enough to get a little closer to him.
Stealth?
No, not helping much.
No.
It's a 7.
7? Yeah, that's a failure. You see him take notice of you, and he starts bolting through the crowd, pushing people out of the way.
All right, I'm going to start running behind carts and trying to lose my way into the confusion.
Okay, so you're tailing him. This is going to be a athletics to tail this guy.
Okay. I'm rolling terribly. That's a 4.
Oh no!
Okay,
Wow.
Just get him out early.
You lose sight of him. What do you do from here?
I'm going to calm down, take a deep breath. I'm going to look back as my brother's staring at me.
Not that you can tell. He could be, but if he is, he's hidden.
All right, I'm going to run into an alley and change my clothing.
Okay.
And then I'm going to put a hood up and then go back out and
Okay.
try to diffuse the situation and also try to tail him again.
We see as Shava very quickly flips her coat inside out, which is a completely differently lined color, and swaps some other things to change her appearance in like 30 seconds. And then comes out of the alleyway. You're looking around for this guy again. Make a perception check.
Perception, that's a 7.
7. You don't see him, and then you feel a tap on your shoulder.
Okay.
And it's your brother behind you. I see you lost him.
Lucius, I tried, it didn't work.
That's fine.
I've never been good at this kind of stuff.
I know.
More the smacking people kind of girl.
You are very good at smacking people. I can attest to that. But it just means that the next step is going to be much harder. The man stole something, you see. I was hoping that I could turn it into maybe a little bit of a game, but it appears it might be a little more difficult than that. So, I know where he is. Follow me. And he starts scaling a drainage pipe on the side of a building. You have enough time where you're not too stressed out about it, and you do climb up after him. He does help you a little bit along the way. You're now at the top of the rooftops, and you start hopping along. He goes to the edge of a building where the sunlight isn't hitting, and he opens a window, and he motions for you to climb in.
All right, I do it.
You hop in, and you are in a house. It is an expensive home from the looks of it, and you see, you can hear the footsteps of someone underneath. And as you peer over a balcony nearby, you see that same man passing down below.
Okay, I'm going to... Does it look like he's going up the stairs towards where I am?
It looks like there's a set of stairs that goes below you. Yes.
He's heading towards them?
He's heading towards them.
I'm going to attempt to find a hiding place.
Okay, make a stealth check.
I'm doing real bad with these rolls. 7.
No. Oh my gosh.
You hide behind a potted plant. His head slowly turns to look at you. And he just starts running. He actually goes to jump out that window, and you watch as his shirt collar gets yanked back by the hand of your brother, and you look out the window, seeing the man knocked unconscious.
All right, I didn't even need to bring out my staff. I'm gonna look over to my brother. I'm gonna like a really nervous smile.
He looks up at you, and he kind of wipes some sweat from his brow, and he's like, "Well, you've got a lot to learn." He reaches into the pocket and hands you a ring, and you recognize it as the ring that your mother wears. It is a family heirloom. Here.
I'll take it. Was this Mom's? Where did this one come from?
It was stolen. I had some intel. I figured we could go out and do something fun together.
Do I get to keep it?
Yeah, you do.
He's gonna...
Don't tell your sisters.
You know I won't.
And then we see a different scene with Shava looking at a big pile of treasure. A particular necklace strikes her fancy. Her brother is in the room with her, but seems to be distracted by something.
Shava's going to reach forward and take it.
As you reach out, you see this gold and silver and blue necklace. And it's got this swirling pattern, and you can it feels like it's drawing you, and you pick it up, and you feel almost sick touching it, kind of ill, but it doesn't feel bad either. And you pocket it without him noticing.
All right, and she'd probably also put it on and hide it beneath her shirt.
Wow, so you failed, huh?
Hey, I am like the best thief ever.
Oh, I see.
I'm just really bad. I'm like not strong or sneaky, so I'm not like the sneaky kind of thief.
I'll help you sneak. But you built it up. Let's see the necklace.
Okay. She pulls it out from under her shirt, and you see the small locket.
Ooh.
Does it have a jewel in it?
Yeah, what's
It
inside?
does have like a very styled amethyst. Like a purple and blue almost swirl of amethyst.
Darius, do you think I could take a look at that? It looks very intriguing to me.
No.
No.
Yeah, I'll carry it for you if it's too heavy.
No. It's mine. You shouldn't touch it.
Okay. And his tail is just going excitedly.
Just gonna tuck it back underneath her shirt protectively.
It's beautiful. It's not hard. We all fail sometimes. I lost my eye practicing in a fun experiment with my my master, Logrit. Did not end well. I only have one left eye, or only one eye left. My left eye is the left and the right one. Put the wrong gunpowder in the shaft and kablooey. There goes I.
And we see an old dwarven man with thinning gray hair striking hammer blows on an anvil. A messy workshop filled with all these beautifully intricate illustrations and these almost bizarre configurations of basic machine parts. We see Darius, who is behind the master, and we pan over and we see a metal man made completely of brass, cogs and gears. The master asks, can you hand me that tool over there?
Yeah, I've got it, Logrit. Here. Is this the one you were talking about?
Yes. He takes it and he starts scrawling into something. He's distracted, but he kind of shoos you to go do something else. I'm busy with my work. I'm too focused. You would then go over probably to your own workshop.
Yeah.
Which is roughly in the same space, but it's kind of an open floor plan. A lot of the dwarves share these kind of open spaces that they work within.
He's going to start fumbling around inside the shelves with it's got a bunch of different things. He's going to reach back and he's going to open a box, and inside are the glowing jewels, the ignatists, the jewels that explode when you throw them. And he's going to lean in and say, This is what I've been looking for to make my new gun really fun. And he's going to look over and he's like, I think I'll name this one Rosie, after that lovely lass I just got to see last night. And then he'll start hinkering down and working on, and he flips up this big rifle barrel that's not quite finished. It's the handle is open half and scroll, and there's metal pieces and screws, and he'll start just slowly working and putting it together.
As you're working, you see that some of your things are misplaced, and you find it odd.
Yeah.
And as you begin working, you accidentally, a spark occurs when you're putting two metal pieces together, and everything goes black.
No.
You wake up in a dwarven infirmary, and you feel a missing eye.
Oh.
Next, we see you having a conversation with a stern, angry-looking man, taller than you. He has a look of disappointment on his face.
I made a mistake, Pa. I was working. I tried. You gotta make a couple scratches in order to find the right sweet spot. You can't blame me for this one you blame me for everything else.
Listen, son. I knew you'd never be a warrior, but I thought you'd be something better than what you are.
I'm helping. I've worked. Logrit's given me quite a lot. He's working on that metal man that he's so excited about. He's let me help. We've worked. We're gaining grounds. I'm learning. The knowledge is coming to me. I'm going to make something you can be proud of.
Our family is warriors.
And I can help the warriors. Maybe not on the battlefield, but I can do something that matters here.
He gets red in the face, and he just sternly walks out.
Yeah. Blooded drunken man.
I have to say, your dad sounds like a pretty rude person.
He's kind of a prick. We don't talk much anymore.
It's probably for the better then.
I'd agree.
Oh, wow, that sounds really sad. But, man, my story's so much sadder. And he stands up, and he pulls out his, small symbols, and starts to,
Do a performance check.
Yeah. Yeah, his whole thing is going to be a performance.
All
as he
right, this
tells
is a
it.
performance for your story.
Sure. How impressed everyone is here.
That is a 10.
All right, it
Nice
is
even.
It is it works.
Yeah.
There are some moments where you falter a little bit.
Wow, yeah, so sad, but let me tell you guys about the day I lost everything. And it kind of like shimmies into the...
Yeah.
Have I heard this before?
No.
Okay.
Maybe a variation.
Maybe a variation. We see a densely packed jungle with these stone buildings and many citizens moving between them, some with the heads of gazelles, rhinos, apes, these animal folk all living together. And in the shadow of a gigantic stone scale, far to the left and far to the right, extends this monolithic piece of stone balanced on a central point. We see a man with a similarly shaped piece of stone on his head that he is balancing as he walks. And we see Yang following behind.
I think I'm also with a friend or so. I've gathered, I was like, oh, come on, check this out. And so, yeah, we're walking along and I'm like, all right, you guys ready? Okay, here we go. And then I'm going to cast Druidcraft. Yeah, I'm going to cast Druidcraft and make it so that it appears that a bunch of vines and stuff are growing off the right side of his hat. And it's starting to like fall in front of his face. What I'm trying to do is throw him off. And
It does throw him off. He's got this kind of steady gait. And then as he feels it tilting, he almost falls over trying to keep it balanced on the top of his head. And he turns to look and sees a few snickering laughs as you dart off into some alleyway. Then we see at the top, on top of one of these scales on one side, we see a sermon being given by a man with a hat like the other one, but much
so
larger.
big.
So big, ridiculously large. And he is wearing these elaborate cloaks and robes, and he is up on this pedestal delivering a sermon. He looks a little unsteady on this stage, but as he's addressing people, it's not anything that's putting him too far off balance. He wobbles just a little bit. And Yang is kind of hiding off to the side.
Right. Sitting behind the sermon, just waiting and watching.
You see him take a step forward and something kind of creaks and he tilts a little, but then he steps back.
And Yang is just like, damn it. Just waiting. He's like, oh, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. And it's getting towards the end of the sermon, I imagine.
Yeah. So as this sermon's kind of wrapping up, you see him kind of starting to step away.
Yeah. So I think as he's trying to get off, he just goes, all right, I'll do it myself. And then he just casts Druidcraft again. And this time makes a bunch of flowers and stuff grow as tall as he can onto one side of the person's head thing.
You see him start to tilt, but not as much as you would expect. And then a loud and you watch as all the trees fly to one side. And he is now unbalanced. And you watch as the stone topples off of his head and he falls with it. And the ground that you are on starts to crack. The stone collapsing. And the entire scale cracks on one side and then tilts, falling to the other with a thunderous crushing town below it.
Oh no.
We cut to...
That's not what I wanted.
We cut to Yang in his parents' house, not destroyed, but he's unable to find his parents, and he runs into a friend who you haven't talked to probably for a year or so.
Yeah.
Tess. She is a gazelle folk, and she has a deep worry in her eye.
Tess, oh my god, what are you doing here? Are you okay?
They're looking for you.
Me? What? Why?
They're saying you caused all of this.
No, what?
I was watching. I saw the flowers growing on his head.
That wasn't me, obviously. That would be terrible.
Everyone knows you do that, Yang.
No. But I didn't make the whole thing crash. That couldn't have been me.
You hear a clattering of arms and armor, She puts a finger up. Wait. And she steps outside of your parents' house, and there is an armed militia outside the door of apelings and these other animal folk. And they begin asking for you, and she shoos them away, assuring them no one's there. And she comes back. She's like, you have to run.
I can't run. My family's here. I have to find them.
They will kill you, Yang.
But I didn't do it.
It doesn't matter.
Will you try to find them for me?
Yeah, I will find your parents. I'll make sure they're safe.
Okay. Oh, well.
She leads you to the edge of the jungle, and she has a small pouch of food that she hands to you.
Okay. Well, Tess, I have to figure out why this happened. It wasn't me. You know it wasn't me, right?
Just go, Yang. Just go.
I'll prove it to you. You'll see.
Okay? I hope you're right.
Wait, so you got in trouble for rocks?
Well, I mean, I didn't do the rocks.
So what I'm gathering from this situation is that you murdered half of your town.
No.
No, I think you're missing the big point here. They wear rocks on their heads.
Yes, that very funny. And I would really much like to see them again and make them fall over. But no, I didn't make the scale fall. It couldn't have been me. I mean, that's why I have to go to the tower. That was the day that the tower fell. And I know it wasn't me. It couldn't have been me.
Maybe you unleashed the tower.
No. And he just starts looking around and like goes back to the crate and just starts eating food. It's like, no. It could have been me.
Whispers would hop forward at this point. I am certain the apeling did not create the tower.
Thank you, scary man.
Oh, and what do
You
you
may
know?
have killed your people, though. Is this the time where we share our stories as a community of fellows?
If you've got any stories to share that don't involve murdering woodland creatures,
As long as it's not too creepy.
Explain murdering woodland creatures to me.
hunting.
Do you not keep animals penned and slaughter them by the thousands?
For the sake of feeding the communities, not for the pleasure and enjoyment of killing.
And we cook those too.
What is the difference?
I just want to take a moment and appreciate that.
Whispers is obviously astounded by your inability to see the hypocrisy in your statement. And he sits back and says, I will engage in your campfire ritual.
Wonderful.
Yeah, tell us.
We see Whispers, his brown feathers glinting in moonlight as he snakes and flies underneath these huge roots, bigger than any tree that any of you have ever seen. He comes across a bit of blood and moves it between his talons and flies off. He sees an animal that he's wounded, a large flying feathered wyvern that has been wounded. And in this last moment, he goes to end its life. Make a attack roll.
What animal was it? Is it?
Feathered wyvern.
Oh. Whoa.
Oh, that's bad. That's only a 7.
With a 7, it does manage to elude your grasp, and it flies off into the night beyond where your group has allowed you to stay within. It is dangerous for people to go too far into the dark route.
Okay. Whispers would watch it fly away and say, very good, brother. Hunt another day.
And then we see a female Aarakocra with a piercing gaze and an even more piercing beak. Also an owl. She is addressing people from up on a branched perch with this kind of walkway built into it. she is looking at you. And this is not a formal meeting. This is you underneath her and maybe a few passerbys, and you are having this conversation with her. Heretic. The tower is a false god, a bringer of ill omen and the demise of our people. Should we heed your folly, we would all be abandoned.
Perhaps you are correct, but perhaps you are not. The tower has risen from the ground, extends to the heavens itself, larger than the tree in the mountain, perhaps the sky. If that is true, then it is the greatest divine wonder of all time.
You speak against me. You speak against our people.
No, I speak for the enlightenment of our people.
Do you wish to go there?
I do.
I'll arrange it.
Thank you, High Wind Speaker.
But don't consider it a favor. You're not welcome back.
So you left your people just to sightsee a tower?
It is more than that. You speak so casually of things that have stopped the moon in the sky from turning. You go to some place that will likely claim our lives.
And do you think it had the ability to break the scale? I mean, that had to have been it.
It might have had the ability to break the heavens. Tasty apeling child.
Oh, no. I scoot closer to Shava. It's like,
You think I'm getting in between you and him? You are very wrong.
okay.
Could everyone make perception checks for me?
Oh, sure.
As you wish.
12.
Oh,
Right.
baby.
11.
21.
21.
19.
Thank you. You see yellow pairs of eyes off in the darker parts of the woods. The rain has settled now and doesn't really seem to be coming back. But these yellow pairs of eyes are extremely haunting. Welcome to the middle of the podcast. It's a nice place to just kind of take a break and maybe chat for a little bit. Again, I'd really like to thank you all for listening. It really means the world to us. And back to the show.
I don't think we're alone, guys. And then just hearing it, and he just goes, "Rah, rah," and he just starts yelling at the sound or at the lights.
We're in a forest. There's other things here.
I know, they're right there.
You should perhaps arm yourselves. The screeching child is correct.
Yeah. Yeah, Yang's gonna go and grab his quarterstaff and stuff from the cart.
Okay. You,
All right.
you hear a distant kind of cackling, a throaty, like, yipping, almost grotesque howling. And these yellow eyes start to come closer.
I'm going to start muttering to myself, which is really I'm talking to my familiar. Be careful. Stay away.
Okay.
You guys can fight, right?
I have a big staff.
Me too. And he flips it around, and he's gonna, I think, cast. Does anyone know how long Shillelagh lasts?
As long as you want
Okay,
it to.
I'm gonna cast Shillelagh then. He's gonna cast Shillelagh on it
Okay.
and grab his staff.
Yeah.
Well, I can't.
This kind of green beam of energy shoots across your staff.
I can support from afar, and he's gonna get up on the top of the wagon, and he's gonna set up Rosie,
Right.
the one that he finished, and he's gonna hold there.
You hear something behind you. Footsteps in the ground. They're lighter than any wolf that you've heard whispers.
Okay.
Shockingly light, in fact, for how big these things look like they be. And as they approach, you see skeletal hands kind of encroaching across the trees. And you see these hollow wolf-like skulls on the bodies of humanoid figures holding these spears and carrying nets. Everyone roll initiative.
Ooh.
What the hell?
After
You see the two approaching, and then there were two coming up from behind trying to use the others as a distraction. Up first is Shava.
Okay.
You
Can-
see these 4 total skeleton creatures. They seem to have the body of a human, but with bits of flesh and almost fur-like pieces sticking to them, and the head of a large wolf, kind of mounted where their normal skull should be. They have long staffs with these kind of gnarled wrought iron ends, and they're holding what look to be fishing nets or something similar.
Oh no.
Okay. Oh my god, those are gross. And then she's like clutching her staff, but she's also like clutching her necklace, and she's going to cast Hex.
Your kind of burst of smoke surrounds one of the creatures.
Yeah, all of her energies are white, by the way.
Oh, white? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
White.
so she does that.
White hexy energy.
And then she's going to, with her action, she's going to say, "Stop being gross!" and like Eldritch Blast, and like with each one, she's gonna stop it, please.
Okay.
And 18.
That'll hit.
Loot.
Go ahead with the damage.
It's a D10. Ooh. Oh, that's good. That's 11 damage.
This white burst of energy shoots out from Shava's palms and smashes into some of the bones, launching them and with a crunch. Next up is Yang's turn.
Yeah. Yang's gonna turn towards the ones that were coming up behind us and like skitter towards them with his staff and his tail. And actually, as he runs up, kind of pass it to himself, swirl it, and gonna hit one of them in their skulls. If he can. Ooh, well, it's a 9 to hit.
9 does not hit.
Ooh. Just keep running like that's what he meant to do, and he's just like, oh, and like run past it.
You do this really cool flurry, and it looks almost like you hit him, but you don't, and you keep running.
And when he stops, he does like look back, like see if anyone was watching.
I was watching.
Damn it!
You're almost useful. Try again.
The creature that you hit, Shava, runs towards you and throws a net forward. It hits. So it launches this net out in front of it, and it wraps around you, and you are now grappled. So you cannot move, but you can still do like actions and things like that.
Okay.
And it takes an action to break out of.
I'm squirming too much.
The next one runs forward towards Darius. Are you behind something? You said you set up?
I'm on top of the cart.
Okay. Yeah, it runs up forward and it gets right next to it and it throws the net towards you. What's your AC?
16.
It hits.
Oh.
So the net wraps around you, same condition. As it goes to strike at you, it glides off the metal plate that's protecting you.
Solid.
Darius, it is right in front of you. You are trapped in this net,
So it's
but
an
you can
action.
still do stuff.
Yeah. If it counts as an action, if I still can, he's going to reach into his pocket and he's going to hold out one of the gems, the Ignitus, and he's going to shake it really hard and then just throw it at the ground right below its feet.
Okay. Make an attack roll. Yeah.
8.
So it'll take half damage.
All right. 4 damage.
Char forms across its body, but it doesn't really seem to take too much damage from the blast. You threw it a bit farther than you meant to.
Mm-hmm.
So next up is the other one that was running up from behind.
Oh, was it 1 or 2 back
There's
there?
3.
There's two running.
2 on
up
each side.
behind.
Oh,
There's-
okay.
And the one that Yang tried to. This is the one that Yang tried to hit. It chases after you, and goes to throw its net. So it makes an attack. That is a 16.
That hits.
Okay. Yeah, you are also captured in this net,
My worst enemy.
and it goes to make a strike. That is a that is an 18 to hit.
Yeah.
You feel this staff pierce into the edge of your skin. 6 piercing.
All right.
And make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh no.
Man.
Oop.
That would be a 9.
That is a failure. You feel your body start to lock and seize up. You feel whatever came in through that wound is infecting your body and keeping your joints from moving the way you want them to.
Oh boy.
Whispers.
All right. Whispers is going to leap into the air, kind of spinning around and looking, assessing the battlefield, and calls out, "I will aid you, child, in case I need to eat you later." And he will dive bomb the one that is about to hit him, the one that hasn't gone yet.
Okay.
And he will pull out his pole arm with its 3 talons. And as he's diving in, you just hear him begin to this avian screech that Mike has no ability to duplicate. And he just screams in and dives on the thing. And I rolled a 20 to hit it. Not natural.
That'll hit. Yeah.
That'll do.
And he is going to hit it for 11 points of damage.
11 points of damage. As you dive forward and you take this thing and you rake along it, you grab half its rib cage and just shatter it into pieces, pulling it to the side.
Nice. And then I would end my turn landing on the ground right behind it.
All right. It is now that one's turn, and it is definitely now more enamored by you than Yang, and it turns to throw its net.
Okay.
Natural 20.
Oh, man.
So the net goes over you, blocking your wings from extending, so you are unable to fly now. Back to the top of initiative, Shava.
Another Eldritch Blast on it.
Okay. You watch, so Shava forces this energy out from her chest and pushes it away, and it scatters into a million bits and pieces as you watch this skull bone separate and clatter to the ground. It is very dead, or double dead. Now it's Darius' turn.
All right. Darius is gonna shout, "I'm tired of this already!" And then he's gonna cast. Where's my
Guiding Bolt?
Yeah, he's gonna cast Guiding Bolt, and he's gonna try and smite this sucker.
That was a good guiding bolt sound. Can you do that again? Ah, nice. We'll Foley that in.
Yeah.
17.
17 hits.
Wonderful. All right. Oh, that was not. It's only 9.
9 damage?
Yeah.
With guiding bolt. So this ray of white holy energy bursts
Shoots up
forth and shoots out,
Yeah,
cracking its rib cage. It is Whisper's turn.
Whispers will hit the one assaulting the monkey.
Okay.
Oh, I'm gonna miss though. It's only a 9.
9, yeah, that does not hit. You reach forward with these talon claws at the end of your pole arm, but it
May I
manages.
attack recklessly?
You may.
Get him.
9. That gives you advantage, right?
It does.
Does a 14 strike the
14
creature?
does hit.
Save me! 12 points of damage.
Yeah, you grab that one forward and pull it to you, and you slash through its the connection between the skeleton and the skull, and it just clatters to the ground. Next up is Shava.
All right. I'm going to detangle myself from the net,
All right.
kick it away, and then I'm going to move my hex. Disadvantage on strength again.
Disadvantage on strength. Sounds good. Okay. Yang, it is your turn. Make a Constitution saving throw.
All right. That is a 12.
A 12 succeeds. You feel yourself finally shake off this poison that was filling you.
Oh, yeah. And the first thing he's going to do is scramble and try to get this whole net thing off of him.
Okay.
Yeah.
You take an action and you rip the net off.
Yeah. And then, yeah, that's it. He's going to stay there.
All right. It takes its pole arm and goes for another strike at you. That's a natural 20.
Oh, no.
Oh, it is very sad.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace,
Yang.
Yang. He lived well. And so long.
That saved the day.
Eat some
Fine.
sweet rolls.
Do not worry, we will have provisions.
I've got save the dying. You're fine.
So that's 10 piercing damage.
Goodbye, everyone.
Oh, okay. We watch as Yang tosses the net off of him, and as he looks back, this rusted wrought iron polearm just whoosh, stabs through him, and he falls to the ground. That is the Knoll's turn. Darius, it's your turn.
Oh, it's my turn again. All right, I'm finally gonna untangle myself out of this net. Does that count as an action?
Yeah.
Okay, full action. Then he's just gonna load up Rosie and poised to strike.
Whispers.
Whispers will continue to attack recklessly because he has seen, even though he considers eating him a comrade, fall down. So he is screeching like a trapped bird. That is a dirty 20.
That'll do. So, a few more bones fall loose, and it falls to one knee and starts pushing itself back up.
Just a reminder, you will have advantage on me when you go to hit me.
Oh, yeah. Shava.
All right, seeing my friend go down, I'm going to turn. I'm going to say some profanities that I'm not actually going to say. I'm just going to be like, "You stupid skeleton is going to... Not today." And then she's going to cast another Eldritch Blast on the one that is poised over Yang.
All right. Go ahead and make that attack.
Natural one.
The natural one is unfortunately a miss.
I would think so.
Hard miss.
It's unfortunate. It's a miss.
No.
So this Eldritch Blast, as you focus, this thing turns towards you and you see its piercing yellow eyes, and for a moment you're unnerved and it shoots off into the woods.
Is anyone else really stressed right now?
I'm not.
The knoll above,
Yang is carefree.
the knoll
ready
above
to
you
die.
turns and looks
Oh, no.
at everyone and probably goes to pick up its net, and it throws it on top of Yang and cinches him up and begins dragging him.
Would I get an attack of opportunity then, since I have reach?
Yeah, you would.
Kill it.
That's not an advantage. I'm gonna click that off.
I would love it if no one prepared any healing stuff and they just watched me
16.
die.
16.
I was like,
you
oh,
do
well,
hit it.
I was looking at the wrong spell.
He was a
and I
goofy
like,
little
oh,
guy.
I do have that
Damn it.
important
Yeah,
thing I
you-
took.
You strike it and you rip it into pieces and it clatters apart.
Good job.
Darius, it's your turn. There is the knoll in front
That's
of
the
you.
last one. So, Rosie, right up at its face. Hopefully, I won't miss. Oh my gosh,
We're the worst.
that's a 4.
What are you doing?
I was gonna
I'm just gonna
shoot
shoot
it
it
with
in
my
its
rifle
head.
right at its head, but I rolled
that would give disadvantage.
But I rolled a 4.
Yeah. So you go to aim and it slams the wrought iron spear against, knocking it to the side as it whoosh,
Mhm.
and you hear the echoes around the
Okay.
trees.
And then I'm gonna go, well, healing word again for as a bonus action on good old Yang over there.
Yang, you feel the light come back in.
I'm so hungry.
Yeah. You ate all our sweet rolls already.
So am I.
Yang is back up. It is now the one in front of you. Makes a strike, and it misses.
Great.
It tries to hit you, and as soon as it misses, it darts in the other direction. So this thing gets into the edge of the woods.
Great.
Shava, your turn. You still do have line of sight on it.
Okay, I'm going to run after it a little bit and cast another Eldritch Blast. Please work. Okay, that's pretty good. It's going to be a 22.
22 will hit.
Only a little bit.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
It's not too bad. Oh man. I rolled max on my Eldritch Blast.
Ooh.
18.
Nice.
18 will kill it. Its entire skull shatters into bits of bone that lodge into the tree next to it. And the night falls quiet again.
I'm immediately gonna go run over and check on Yang.
Yeah, Yang is gonna like pick up his quarterstaff and start like hobbling with it. His legs aren't injured, but he's gonna start hobbling. He's like, "Oh my gosh, Wow, that was so painful. Does anyone have any food? Like I said, very hungry.
And Whispers will turn from where he was in front of the one that Shava blasted and do a quick flight over the area.
Make a perception check.
It's only a 10.
10. You do not see any sort of other entities or anything out of the ordinary.
Okay.
As Whispers flies back, Whispers, this is not ordinary. Undead generally don't walk the surface in the first place. Not only that, you are on the main road, and it should relatively be safe, especially this early in the Midwood.
I'm gonna Yang's gonna collect some of the bones, like the rib cages and stuff. He's gonna say, "Guys, check this out." And then he's gonna take his staff. He puts it in the ground and goes, and he tries to play a song out of that.
You all watch as Yang gathers all these rib cages, and you're all probably pretty confused at first, and he kind of organizes them and sticks them in the ground and then begins playing. A little
and he's just like looking at her with nothing. Okay.
As you look
Just
down,
came back from a near-death experience, and this is the first thing you do.
It was the first thing I thought of when I saw them. I just had to do it.
looking down, you had kind of put a skull to ornament the
My marimba.
Yeah.
your set of new instruments.
My skullophone.
But you see a symbol that only you recognize. It is a druidic carving. In the druidic language that you know. It's a different dialect, and it's a little hard to make out at first, but as you look at it playing this instrument, you start to piece together its meaning, and it means resurrection.
Okay. Guys, I think something brought these to life, and I show them the symbol. I'm like, this is not good, not good.
You speak the language of druids, then?
Yeah, I am a druid.
Your value has increased. Then I would hop off to the other side of the clearing.
Okay.
After realizing Yang is okay, I'm going to check on Nyx.
Yeah, Nyx has just been off on the sidelines, awaiting orders.
I'm just glad you're okay. Very glad.
My health is above the necessary requirements for function, thank you.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna step back over.
So the rest of the night passes without too much worry. There are some false scares. Yeah, nothing else happens in the night, and the day breaks, and bits of light pierce through the trees above, and you hear the beginning of birds chirping once more.
Something you all would notice is that Shava's eyes, they were originally both gold, and now one is purple and one's gold.
Whoa.
Wow.
And you all hear a strange accordion-like music
Is that another bird?
off in the distance.
Well, that's pretty.
Sounds like it's out of tune to me.
And I assume you're all packing up and getting ready to move on and continue your journey. And as you step forward, you see a strange cart. And over it is labeled Madame Avidica's Traveling Marionette Show.
Whoa.
And I think that's where we will end
All
the first
right.
episode.
Yeah. I love it.
Thank you all so much for sticking through with us on our first episode. We're so excited to go on this journey with all of you. And it's been my goal for a few years now to make a D&D podcast, and the fact that we've actually made it happen is still crazy to me. Make sure to check us out on social media and follow us on Twitter for updates at DiveCloudCast. We also have a subreddit, r/DiveCloud. Not to mention that we have a Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube as well. We would all love to hear your feedback. Feel free to reach out to us on Twitter with what you liked and what you didn't and what you'd like to see in the future. And if you could leave us a review on whatever podcasting platform that you're on, we would really appreciate it. and we'll see you again in 2 weeks on Monday. That will be the 25th of March. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much.
Inspiration ignites an invisible channel that opens between machine and soul.